So what's going on, Eric? What's the word for?
What happens when you speak? I've never used this before. When you speak, does your face come on or something?
Yeah, you get highlighted. The box around your system gets highlighted for the one who's the loudest.
Oh, I see.
So in the upper right corner, it's going to say speaker view. If you click on that, then your screen, anyone who speaks will come up huge and full screen.
See. Hi, Coach Young.
Hey there. Hey, Brad Paul.
How you doing there, my friend?
Jimmy, do you remember Eric Thompson?
Yes, I remember Eric.
What's up, Jimmy? Hey, Coach.
How you doing, Eric? Good to see you.
You too. Well, it's turn your video on, Coach Miller.
I got it on.
Thanks.
There's Dan Boyle, too.
Hey, Coach and others.
This'll be fun.
Looking forward to it.
I guess if you're going to wear your hat, Brad, I think I better, too. I don't have as much hair as you got.
No, there's not much hair left up there, so.
There is it? I bet you got more than me.
I got more here probably than I got.
Oh, yeah. Does that work to grow it here and then you can transplant it up here? Is that what? Oh, gosh.
Hey,
Chuck, welcome. Chuck Morrell.
Is Chuck on there?
Yep.
Yeah.
Jimmy, are you pictureless? Are you just your name?
No, I think I'm on. I can see you guys.
We can't see you.
What do I got to do to get my picture up?
Comb your hair.
Chad will walk you through it.
I think in the lower left corner, there's a video icon.
It says start video. It's off right now.
Yep,
Click on
just
it.
click on start video. Hey.
There you are. Look at that gray hair.
That's from hanging out with you guys. Those 4 years at Sioux Falls did me in.
Yeah. I don't think so.
Oh.
It was Jay Wu. Jay Wu, I'll play it on you.
There you go.
Jimmy, you had hair like that when you were like 50, though.
I know. I had 2 daughters, Brad.
You have a
never
lot
had
of
any
it,
girls.
though. You have a lot of hair, man.
What's up, man? How are you?
What's up, Z? What's up,
Holy
Zim?
moly, Rick Zimmer.
Oh, Coach Poole, Coach Miller. Oh my gosh.
I know, right?
Coach Young, how are you? Hey, how are you, Chad?
Good to see you, Zim. Really good to see you.
Great to see you guys. Boy, when I heard the Legends were going to be on,
I know, right?
turned out the schedule, man.
Did you pay the fee to see him? No, it's costing all you guys about $10 to see him, you know.
I can't hear you, Coach. You're dinging out on me. Background, though. Oh, I even back practice tonight, so it's perfect. This is good. Yeah.
Eric, what are you doing right now? Where are you living?
So how's everybody doing? How you doing, Coach Miller? Coach Poole? I'm in Casper. I've been here 30 years teaching and coaching football. So both my daughters are moving back, one from Vegas and one from Cheyenne. So they both have jobs back here in Casper. So I'm in transition with my girls, 29 and 26. So yeah, it's busy at my place.
Did you get it moved in?
We're piecemealing it, slow and steady. Yeah, it's like moving 2 households into 2 rooms and garages and sheds. It's all good though. We'll get there.
Get those pods.
Yeah.
Order yourself a few pods.
Yeah, I need to. Hot some?
Hey, Chuck, are you in Montana yet? Chuck Morrell?
He's been frozen that way.
I'm here.
There he is.
Eric, what's going on?
Yeah, no, I'm still hiding out in Montana right now. So might as well.
Are you catching any those things that Brad Pohl likes to pull out of the streams out there?
I was just gonna message him here. I got some pictures for him.
Nice.
Yeah, it's been a solid couple of weeks. I can say that.
Well, I tell you, you look like you've been out in the wild, and will they?
It's COVID beard.
They gonna let you look like that when you get back down to Fresno? Or are they gonna clean you
Hey
up?
man, I'm back with Kalen, man. I don't think he gives a crap what I look like. So like,
Bet there's been a lot less people on the rivers out in Montana, Chuck.
actually, it's been about 4 or 5 times as many. It's overwhelmed right now.
Really? Really?
Yeah, it's been crazy just because there's no kids sports going on, obviously, and
Yep.
and everybody's driving on vacation. And we were out the other day. I couldn't believe how many boats were on the water. It's crazy.
Where were you fishing, Chuck?
Big Hole, the Madison, Rock Creek, Jefferson, Georgetown Lake. So whatever's close to Butte, Montana, I got my fly wet in it.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff.
Did Grogan go up and meet you up there? Did he, Tom Grogan?
No, we were supposed to be in Alaska this week. I had to cancel out, but he's up in Alaska on a excursion that we were going to go on.
Bruce Moeller.
Hello.
No way.
Hi, Bruce.
You kidding me?
Lower left-hand corner.
Oh, the prodigal son has returned. What's up, Mo? My gosh, I've looked for you.
Nice seeing you all.
I wish I'd get closer, look at you.
Yeah, you look like you changed complexion there, Bruce Moeller. You got a pretty
Jeez.
bad background there.
Come on, brother.
No, I'm sorry.
They went,
Is that
there
better?
you go.
There you
That's
go.
good.
Too much
Wow.
light back there?
Much better.
Okay, sorry. How you doing, Coach?
Good. Hello, Ralph Duke.
Yeah. Yep.
I missed it. I just said it.
Jimmy, were you around when Ralph Duke played?
Yeah, you first came in then, yes.
Yeah.
Were you a freshman, Ralph, when I was in my senior, or were you the next year? Or?
Geez, good question. Geez, I have not seen Jimmy in a long time.
I remember the night Ralph Duke came in and Jimmy came over and said that he lifted his trailer off by himself in the dead of winter.
Well, somebody had to do it.
You guys all still got your hair.
Hey,
Hello, Adam. Hi, Adam. Brad.
Howdy.
Oh, we even got the infamous quarterback in here now.
Yep.
We got another Montana boy, Ronan all the way. You remember that trip you took to Ronan, Brad?
I do. Yeah.
That's been. Did you ever think you'd find somebody like be seeing Ed Kessler about how many years later?
No. No. I did not. However, when I got, after I left and the story came back that Ed had been shot and had to pop some pellets out of his eyes shooting pheasants on a Friday before a home game, I sure felt a lot better about that recruiting trip that I got the right kind of guy to go to USF. So.
I was just darn glad when they had the All-Star game out there in Montana that it rained the whole time, so Ed didn't get to throw very much. And so he didn't get recruited by anybody else or something like that, wasn't it, Ed?
Something like that. It rained like, there was like 6 inches of water on the field. It was ridiculous.
You should have been able to run. That taught you how to run when you got back here.
Yeah, I remember they'd place the football and it would float. The water was so bad on the field.
Jeremy Gardner. Hello, Jeremy. Are you got your Dax? Hi, Dax. How come this says Amy Oswald? You don't look like Amy. Justin? Justin? He must be muted then.
Hello.
What's up, Greg Carroll?
Pretty soon. Hello, Coach Anderson.
Can you hear me, Coach?
That Coach Anderson?
Hi, Coach. How are you tonight?
Yeah. Who's that? Right there. Who's that?
Just playing the music.
Is that on there?
Bobo.
What's up, boys?
Oh, Scott Ebert. Oh, Jeremy Gardner. That's who that is. Jeremy Gardner, you should have combed your hair before you got on.
Too many girls, Coach. It's all my hair's falling out from my kids.
You understand how I lost mine then, you guys, with your
All is beautiful.
Oh, Dave Anderson's on. Let's see, Damon's on.
Hi, Coach Dave.
Is that Wolfie?
Yes, sir.
Oh, be darned. Good to see you, Wolfie.
You too, Coach.
Coach Young, you there?
Paul Lamar.
How you doing, Coach?
Greg Carroll.
Hi, Coach.
Bill Gray.
Gardner, we get to see you this time.
That's right.
Hey, what's up? All you guys going bald? You and Wolfie?
Thanks, Lamar. Good to see you, Train.
Gardner, what's going on, man?
Josiah.
Oh, how are you?
I'm good.
Josiah and hey, Josiah, you and Gardner, tight ends have to be bald, right?
Can't grow no more.
The requirement.
Oh, dear.
Coach Young, you there?
What's that?
Coach Young.
Yes.
Yeah. Coach Underwood.
Where's Coach Underwood at? Is he on here somewhere?
Hey, Coach.
Should be.
Listed as Scott's iPad.
Hi, Scott.
How are we doing tonight?
I'm doing well, thank you. Good to hear your voice.
Good to see you.
Hey, Kalen, welcome.
Yeah, it's good to see you guys. It's awesome.
I hear your daughter, I get a little report every once in a while about your daughter up there in Brookings.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for helping out with that, Coach.
Are you following the game?
I haven't. No, I haven't. So.
I told Chad that I said, since you recruited her, why you better keep us informed of how she's doing up there. So he's not going to be on with us tonight. So
okay,
I got a report from her first time at bat. She lined out to the second baseman.
Okay. Yeah.
It was probably a line shot though, probably. You guys may wonder what we're talking about, but Kalen's daughter, Nicole, loaded up the girls and they drove all the way from Fresno to South Dakota so she could play some softball. Wow. We don't have softball in California, so so she's playing with Chad Garrow's the team that our granddaughter's on up there at Brookings. So anyway, She got up there for practice this morning, didn't she, Kaylin? I think
so, yeah. They were up there. Yeah.
Play tonight, so I hope I get to see her play on Saturday when they get to Sioux Falls.
Awesome. That'd be cool. That'd be great. Yeah.
Hey, Coach Young. My wife was kind enough to lend me her computer, so I'm Orchidea Flores.
Okay.
Take care. Hello,
You
dear.
know,
Fella.
that first name kind of threw me.
Yeah, that's took me 6 months to get down.
Hey, Bubba, welcome.
How's it going, Coach?
Good. Yeah.
Oh, my.
Nice to see the California boy could join us
They
tonight.
dress harder.
Hey, Coach.
California boys.
Bob Booth.
Coach DeBoer, when you guys coming up to Boise?
Not this year. Not
Right.
this year. No.
Well,
Next year.
I'll be wearing a red shirt when you guys do.
I appreciate that. That's awesome. Yeah, we were up there. We played them 4 times in 2 years. I think that was enough for a while.
I know you're coming to Reno. I may switch from blue to red.
All right. I'll take you up on that.
Heard it's a tough crowd down in Reno.
Yeah, we look like Vegas, and we don't like them.
Don't come back to Nebraska, Caleb.
Yeah.
I just spent 2 weeks there.
Hey, Coach Paul, I see you there. I hear you're retired, but you might have to go back to work so you can afford to finish your ceiling, it looks like.
Yeah, I'm thinking about, there's a lot of guys standing out on the interstate. And it looks like there's plenty of room. So I could be there soon. So if you see me, think about my ceiling, will you? I just moved into this house, so we haven't quite got the basement finished yet.
Well, great to see your face. And you too, Coach Miller. Good to see you, Jimmy.
Hey, Bobby.
Rob.
You too, Bobby.
Well, I'm sure there's going to be some more to join us here, but I just want to welcome all of you coaches that joined us tonight. I really appreciate, in the second try here, we got 6 of you on with us, and I don't know how to get a hold of Jay Sim anymore, so.
Does anybody?
I don't know if he's still managing the one bar,
But if you have anybody that that's trying to get on that can't figure out the Zoom, well, let us know and we'll let Rem figure it out for them. So have them call Sean or have them call me or call Rem. But I want to thank you, coaches. When I think about all of you coming together, I think back on. I wouldn't have amounted to much if I didn't have you assistant coaches taking over a lot of the responsibility the whole time you were with us. And what so many of you did, while I was coaching, you were working second jobs and sacrificing. And I know some of you worked overnight and then would come in to maybe catch a few winks of sleep and then come on in and get ready for practice. And it's unbelievable. Is that Carrington?
Lamont, wow.
Yes, sir.
LC.
What's going on?
But
I had to
anyway,
pull over to take the call.
thanks again, coaches. Appreciate it. We're gonna start out. Chad, tell them again how to do their.
All right, guys, welcome everybody. When the coaches are talking, we're gonna have everybody mute their microphones if they would please. And then in the upper right corner, there's a button and it says speaker view. And if you click on that, then whoever's talking comes up full screen. If you click on speaker view in the upper right, the person who's talking comes up full screen, and we'd like to have the coaches featured as they speak. So welcome everybody. I'm going to mute myself, and then Coach Young's going to take over, and he's going to introduce the first coach.
Okay, first guy I've asked to talk is our current head coach, Coach Anderson. Are you prepared, John?
As prepared as I'll ever be, Coach.
He was obviously was assistant coach to back with Chuck and John, or back with Chuck and Kalen when they were there, and then he left West Virginia as a head coach, and then came back to Sioux Falls as our head coach. So anyway, welcome, John. You can say a few words to the guys here. Thanks for being on.
Well, thank you, Coach. I was honored when you asked me to, and been trying to get on here for the last couple of weeks, guys, but little kids baseball and some of those things that pop up on Thursday nights. It's great to see so many of you on here that I've met before. Or, many have heard stories, at least, from the guys that I'm pretty close with. So great to be on here. I won't take too long, but just was thinking about something that I could tie the past, which you guys are all a proud part of, to what we got going on here in the future, or right now in the present, I guess, and wanting to do in the future as well. And I was thinking about common traits from the program back when I started with Coach, and obviously hearing what you guys were able to accomplish and how you did it, and the trying circumstances that you had. I've heard all those things, and sorry to make you guys don't feel too bad about this, but we're not eating banana bread and cold meat sandwiches on the side of the road anymore in our days. But we've progressed a little bit from there. And, I was thinking about what ties us all together is just hard work. And I know how Coach built this program, and so many of you guys and the coaches that are on here that coached before I got on board in 2002. And it's just, there's no substitute for it. And I was looking for a Bible verse to tie that together, and I came across Colossians 3:23. It says, whatever you do, work at it with all your heart as working for the Lord, not for men. And I think that works well in our program, and because it was never about the individual, is always about the team and glorifying our Lord through the process. And Coach, you taught me that. I had some great coaches through my college career and early in my coaching career, but you're the first one that really mentored me and taught me how to glorify the Lord through my coaching ability. And I'm forever grateful for that, and something that I try to carry through every single day. And then, how we work in our program comes from you, Coach. And I told this story when I got introduced at the press conference. I'll tell it again because I think it's worth doing, and I don't want to take too long. It's kind of when Coach retired, it took him forever to move out of his office. Kalen, you remember it took you about 3 months to be able to get into that head coach's office. And I wandered down there one day, and it was empty, and sitting on the desk with a couple crumbs, and a stapler, and written on that stapler was in tape, and on it was an old pen, barely able to be read. It said, Bob Young, math instructor / football coach. All right. And that really spoke to me, because when I got there, I know Kalen was coaching baseball. Chuck was a stinking admissions counselor, for crying out loud. I was substitute teaching, and Coach Harder, I know you were there too. And so many of these coaches were working part-time as we were going through, and, everything still had to be done just through hard work. And I thought that if Coach, even towards the end of his career, was still identified as a math teacher, then there was nothing too big that I couldn't do or shouldn't do. And that carries forward into our program today. The fact that things have changed in the D2 era drastically from what you guys were used to, and we got things now that you all didn't have, and things that you should have had. We're still not all the way there. We're still not looking like some of the programs we go against in the playoffs and the things that they got, but we're much further along. And that was built on your guys' back and the things that you guys accomplished, the hard work that you put in, and know that there's a tie to your era that through coach and through the guys that I was blessed to coach early there with. I know the history of the program. I know what you guys did. I know that you didn't play home games and all those things. And we share that with our kids. The minute that they get a little uptight about not having something, I got plenty of ammo to come right back at them about what they do have. And it's all about, we're still very much a blue collar program today. I think that when we're successful, it's because we outwork people. When we're successful, it's because we find kids that buy into just wanting to work, and kids that love football, regardless of how many people are in the stands, regardless of what you got or don't have. And that's when we're successful, and we have a bunch of those kids. And that's a tie right back to this group of men and this group of coaches. And please know you're always welcome in our program. And would love to have you guys around whenever you want to come. And I appreciate, I was told about 3 to 5 minutes, Coach. Hopefully that's good enough, but appreciate the opportunity to speak to you guys. And please come see us when you're in town. Thank you.
Thanks, John. Our next guy, I'm going to ask to say a few words is Scott Underwood. Scott was kind of a blessing at the right time when I was really struggling with trying to find somebody to run the defense, and we stole him away from Augustana, I think. Wasn't that how it worked?
Yeah,
I
that was
don't know all the details, but he came over, and I think he took over the defensive coordinator from Don Campbell during the season. He was pretty impressed by you as a young man, and so I think he was pretty willing to let you have it. But anyway, Scott, was a head coach up at St. Cloud, but they decided to drop the football program, so now he's a master of all trades up there, the way it sounds. But anyway, it's good to have you. He was the assistant during our championship run in '96, and he and Chad Garrell kind of worked together to run the defense at that time. So anyway, Scott, you got the floor.
All right, thanks, Bob. Just kind of reiterating what John said. When I first got there, and we're meeting in the portables, and Bob's handing out makeup tests to young ladies that didn't do well on their test in math earlier. And he's asked me if I can meet with 4 guys, and there's a stream of people and trying to tutor and do everything. So it was at times, I wouldn't say chaotic, but it was a balancing act. And what you learn from that is just to be humble and that things aren't all as important as maybe you think they are at that particular moment, and you'll all get through it if you work together. And like Bob said, the opportunity for Jay Sim and I and Chad Garrow and numerous others to work at that time, and kind of you had close rein on your kids all the time because they were there. There's not as many distractions probably as you might see in my later years in coaching when I've been at North Dakota, and then certainly at St. Cloud. So pretty special in that direction. But it always comes down to people. You all in coaching and all you guys that have been around football know that it comes down to people, whether they're coaches, whether they're your players, and the special individuals. And the guys that are on here currently, having Kalen and Chuck and numerous others that I had a chance to work with is just a blessing, and to see how they have branched out and been successful. And interesting story is Kalen told me one night that he said when he first got the job that him and Curtis Riggs and Chuck were going to take care of them. He said, we conditioned that first season I had him as hard as we've ever. He's like, I thought we probably killed him because that's what you did. That's what you and Jay Wu and Bob did to us. And it was just a different type of era. He goes, we finally had to recover and realize that kids maybe weren't all used to that the requirements, but they will adapt and overcome as you go. I think the key thing is just Tamara, my wife and I, we hold a special time, certainly when we were at Sioux Falls College, now the University of Sioux Falls. And we just feel blessed that the playoff run and the people we were organized with and the time that we had was just outstanding. And it was really special getting to go on the road for all those playoff games. And it really brought our team close together, our coaches and everybody. And again, it's been you don't get to come across that very often, certainly in your career or in other jobs that you might have if you're not working in the coaching industry. And I think that's what makes it special. So the key thing, one main cog, and he's the guy directing traffic here, and it's Bob. And, I'm so thankful for him and the opportunity to start really a career from being a position coach to later a coordinator and move me along in that progression to later head coach at St. Cloud. So that really, I learned a lot. I'm so thankful. And I think that the key thing is that, the people, like I mentioned earlier, just a special time, and you don't get to come across that always in your career and path and job. So it's just thankful for that opportunity. And there's a lot of guys on here that I know, see all these coaches. Coach Pohl had a chance to play for Coach Pohl for a season over Augustana. Jimmy Miller, he played against it or had a chance to coach against him when he was up there. And there's just a lot of special guys on here, and it's a great community of coaches and fellowship.
All right, our next guy here, we're going to go clear back to the 83 season. That means we're going to go back to Coach Brad Pohl. When I came to USF in 83, Brad was a young boy. He was coaching with an old guy by the name of, what was that guy's name? Earl Craven. I had to think about it there, but anyway, but Brad, he was coaching my defensive backs the first year while Earl was still there, and then he took over as defensive coordinator. And really, as I look back on it, he was my first college assistant. So I learned a lot in the college ranks because Brad had already been there for a while, and over the years, I certainly owe him a lot of thanks because he was kind of the right guy at the right time. He always served kind of as a spiritual inspiration to me and a special friend over the years. And now that he's recently retired, it's hard to believe that he's gotten that old from that young boy when I first came to USF. But anyway, Brad, we're looking forward to a few comments here from you.
Yeah, thanks, Bob, so much. It was fun listening to John Anderson talk about getting there in 2002 and not having much. And I'd been there 20 years before him, and boy, over 20 years didn't change much, I guess, because things were thin too back in the very beginning. And when you came in, you helped us. You helped turn the program around. You helped turn the program into a winning situation. And it was. I still look back over the 40 years of coaching and say that those years at USF were. They were treasures. They were, probably the best. There was just. It was raw, and it was just us, and it was a neat time. So I really do appreciate you, Bob, and everything you've been in terms of a friend over the years. And it's fun to see all these faces on here. A lot of guys here that I recruited, a lot of guys here I coached and have known through the ranks over the years. So this is really it's a blessing. But you asked me to say something about, faith in football and what that meant. And I think I thought a long time ago that sharing your faith had a lot to do with relationships, and whether it was your kids or whether it was, friends or anybody, if you didn't have a relationship with a man, it was pretty hard for you to have any kind of impact in terms of sharing your faith. And football to me it was all about relationships. I mean, you win because, you build good relationships with your players, and you have good relationships on a staff, and there's cohesiveness, and so valuable, so important. They say a man can't step in the same river twice, because he's not the same man, nor is it the same river. And it's the same true for the saint. A saint every day, grows one step closer to God, and he's not the same guy taking the same steps down the same path today as he did yesterday. So we all know the difference between, the plebe at West Point and the second lieutenant. We know the difference between the rookie, and the senior leader. And we know the difference between, the journeyman and the apprentice. And, you know, you look at over time and what happens to the rookie, but the weight room changes it, right? And his body armor, he becomes a warrior. You know, look what happens to the plebe. You know, the duty and discipline and drill over time, you know, create in him, you know, they create a leader in him. And you look at the journeyman and practice, you know, practice makes the skill of his, whether it's, you know, wielding a sword like a saint, or whether it's, you know, a guy playing, you know, a running back or linebacker or anything else, that all like improves over time. So what is different about a football player? Isn't there similarities about how you grow and how you mature? I mean, society has come to think that becoming a Christian is a stagnant paradigm. It's an old, you know, it's an old tradition. We read an old book, we have old rules, and we teach young men to become old men, you know, at a young age. And that's a stagnant view. I mean, if you look at just what Christ had to say about, I have come to give them life to the full, right? Saint Irenaeus said, the glory of God is man fully alive. And in church, we say, we ask God not to look upon our sins, but on the faith of his church. I mean, isn't that talking about adventure and challenges and teamwork? I mean, people that hold on to that old view of Christianity, you know, they're uninformed. You know, they don't know that the life of a Christian is dynamic. They don't know that the life of a Christian is about strength and about adventure. And it's also about teamwork. And everybody, let me just ask you this simple question, okay? Who wants to be a part of a football team that is internally excited for the season? Who wants to be a part of a football team that's coached by a bunch of men filled with hope for each player's success and expectations? Who doesn't want to be a part of a football team that continually wins? John was talking about, you know, Chuck was talking about 25, 26 years of success at USF, unprecedented. Okay, who doesn't want to be a part of something like that? Okay, so I think it's very much true to say that everybody who coached the game that had a faith and wanted to share their faith with their players like you did, Bob, had a really deep feeling down inside that you were passing on to them some skills that they would be able to take and use those skills after they got done playing, and see how duty and honor and discipline and teamwork and learning how to do with a little bit less, all those things transferred into their faith life and could transfer into their faith life. And I really believe that that was something that you really tried to instill, and at least I know you did in me. And it sure sounds like you tried to instill that in everybody that came after me. And I know that's something that I'll always carry, that, you know, you really gave me an example of what it was to be a coach who loved his faith and wanted to share that with the people that he worked with. So those are my words. Thanks for listening to me. Thank you, Bob. And most of all, thank all the guys here that have been a part of it for all this time. It's been, it was a wonderful experience. Thanks.
Thanks, Brad. That's very kind of you. And, you know, I just thinking back in '83, I was so coming out of high school, thinking all that stuff you did in high school would go on in college. And I found out real quickly in '83 that we needed to do a few more things differently. But, you know, really, we turned it into '84. Then remember that, Brad? We almost made the playoffs that year. We hadn't lost that one game out there, out in Tech out there. We could have, I think, I can't remember, was our record 8-2 or 9-1 or something like that?
Yeah, they only took 8 teams back then too. That was.
I know, that's right. I think we ended up number 9, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
So anyway, thanks, Brad. Appreciate it so much. We're going to take our next guy here. We're going to save Kalen till last. Kalen, do you have to get off or not? I guess not. We're going to go with Jimmy Miller. Jimmy, he's current defensive coordinator up at Northwestern University there in St. Paul. I recruited him. You know, Brad and I took a trip up there, and I remember being at his house, and Jimmy was tying flies, I think, and talking fish, and he and Brad were talking fishing, and I was thinking about hiring a coach. He was working for the Northwest Airlines, and I don't know that he ever anticipated becoming a coach and being a coach the rest of his life, but he was the right guy to bring in at the right time for me, because I was really struggling with getting someone to run the defense permanently, and he came in 87, and that year wasn't so glorious, but the next year was, we went undefeated, and a lot of it had to do with how Jimmy brought the defense around, and we ended up making the playoffs for the first time then. So anyway, Jimmy Miller, we're going to listen to you. Okay, thanks for being on.
Yeah, it's a pleasure, Coach. It's just seeing you. Seeing Coach Polis, it's kind of a blast from the past. Is that I know Brad was the one that really kind of encouraged me to get back into coaching, and I was working at the airlines at the time, and I think about you trying to you took a shot at hiring a guy that hadn't been in coaching for 3 years and bringing me in, but yeah, it changed my life, Coach, and you know, both you and Brad have been great mentors and friends, and just guys that I really look up to. So neat to be able to hear all these guys talk, and kind of a similar thread through everyone, a little bit different. But I just wrote down a couple things, Coach, and I wrote down is that what I learned from you is that you wanted to do football at a highly competitive level, and you also wanted to share Jesus with your players. And you did it in a very unique way. Is that I always admired how you kind of got that by. I look back, Coach, and some of the things I think about that little patch of grass that we have between the Stewart Center and what was the hall up there where the racquetball courts were in?
Pierce Hall.
Yeah, Pierce Hall. Is that, you know, we had that little plot of land out there, and we take the whole team out there and we practice every day, and you know, a lot of coaches would have complained, and I never heard you complain about that. In fact, you kind of liked that we had that little bit of turf because we were so close, and we were able to rub elbows with one another. Is that we didn't have a home field. We played out there at where all the high schools played, and I think did Augie play out there as well? I can't remember. Is that but we all played out that, so we didn't have a field to play on. But again, I never heard you complain about that. You know, this has already been said, but I remember playing cribbage with Jay Wu and with Dave Anderson on any bus trip we went. And you would spend the whole time correcting math tests. Is that you'd be sitting up there with your bifocals on, with your red pin kind of crossing everything off. Is that that was kind of a great example to me. I remember one time you even drove the bus. You, rather than hiring a bus driver, you drove it up to Dakota State, and you just about killed all of us trying to exit onto the exit off of there. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah.
I think we were on 2 wheels for a while. Is that this was one of my favorite. You and I went out to Wyoming recruiting. We were gone 3 weeks, and every night we'd stay in some type of someone's house that that had some association with Sioux Falls, so they'd want to talk about Sioux Falls, and we've been recruiting all day. And I had a beautiful wife at home, and just a newly born daughter that I wanted to get back to. It. I remember you just wanted to keep on going. Is that you had a work ethic that was unbelievable. But I just wrote down a verse, Coach. It's Proverbs 13:12. It's easy for me to remember because 13 minus 1 is 12. So that says, hope deferred makes the heart sick, but a longing fulfilled is the tree of life. And to me, Coach, that's what that's what you gave to all of us, is that you gave us life, and you're a tree of life even today, getting us together like this. And what a treat for me to see some of these guys on the Zoom call. Is that some I haven't seen since I left the coop, but that's kind of what I wanted to share, Coach. And I think about the legacy that you've left, is that you know, all of us on this thing, we're kind of you could call some of us your sons, and then some grandsons. And then there's probably a few on here that might even be great grandsons. So what a legacy, Coach, you've left. And I just want to thank you. Love you. And I'm proud to be able to call you my friend.
Thanks, Jimmy. Appreciate it. What you did to help me out at the right time was more than just coaching football, but you were really a true spiritual brother. You know, to be able to get close together with somebody a lot different in age. You accepted me, and I accepted you for your youth, and I liked your youth because it inspired me. I know that. So anyway, thanks, Jimmy, and maybe we'll be up to see you one of these weekends. I got to see my family up there, so hopefully I might catch you too. So I just am thinking here while you guys are all talking here how you branched out from your start at USF and the positions that you've taken on, you know, moving from being a assistant coach at USF maybe to being a head coach at Fresno State or a head coach at St. Cloud or Brad being down at Drake University. I just think about the different levels of football that you've evolved, your careers evolved to. And I guess I can just say I'm mighty, mighty proud to see what's happened. I'm happy for you. And you know, and one thing I wanted to say again, I've received some more very kind comments in regard to Diane's passing, and I want to thank you that I know most of you have said something to me and about it, but the ones that have more recently that didn't have a way to contact me until we did the Zoom, you know, I just want to thank you again. I certainly miss her. It gets pretty quiet around here. I do have her puppy here that keeps me a little company, and she's pretty kind. And I let her in the bedroom with me. I don't put her in bed with me, but I let her in the bedroom, and so it kind of keeps me, you know, having somebody around anyway. But we've had some wonderful times here. I started a men's Bible study here on my deck out in the back. We had that this morning at 8 o'clock, and that's a neighborhood Bible study, which has really been a good thing for me. And the other guys that are in it most of them are kind of right around my age, or quite a few of them are younger. Nobody's that old than I am anymore. But you know, and then last night, a lot of you know who Tom Frederick and Wade Mary. Remember Wade Mary covered us during the '96 championship game, and they both lost their wives, and I've lost mine. And so we made kind of a support group, and we've been doing it on Zoom most of the time. Every Wednesday night about 8 o'clock, where we Zoom each other, And last night they came out to my house here in Wade Mary. It was exactly 5 years ago that he lost his precious wife, Val. And he struggled just like Tom Frederick now has lost his wife, Mary, and I lost my wife, Diane. And so it's good to have these kind of situations, but here again, it goes back to what you guys have been talking about. Having these kind of relationships helps get through the tough times. And I don't know what I'd do if I was all by myself with no relationships. It would be a very miserable situation. So I once again express my appreciation to all of you coaches. You mean so much to me, and what you're doing with your families and your careers and everything makes me mighty proud. So I don't know if Russ Hart, are you on yet?
Yeah, I'm on, Coach.
Anything from you, Russ?
What I put in the group message was how much I appreciate what you've done for me and my family, and our prayers with you and losing Diane as well. And one of the things I remember about Coach Young when I was coaching with Coach Young, a couple things, I actually camped on his doorstep until they hired me in the first place. So, and one thing about Coach Young, he was real. I mean, you know, a lot of coaches talk the talk about how important a person is, and but they really want you to be the player first, where Coach Young has always been the person that is true. I've seen him tell kids that actually they're pretty good football players, that right now probably isn't the time for you to be playing football. You need to take care of your life. And my kids still talk about you, Coach, and how you let them run around all over the field, all over the place, and it didn't matter. And they were part of our family too. And I appreciate that. And I remember one of my sons about got crushed out at Hardwood. One of the trainers saved him from running out of the field. But I appreciate everything you've done for me. And I had kind of a unique view too, because I wasn't part of the Coup family before. So I got to see that. And when you talk about things we had, I came from South Dakota State, where we had some pretty good stuff there at that time. But I can remember the first trip we had and the first sandwich I had. I couldn't believe that was actually happening either. But appreciate every memory I have with you and with the guys, and had some great people to work with. And I thank everybody. And I still talk to John a little bit, work with him a little bit. I'm actually helping with South Dakota Junior Football, so John and I work on that a little bit. And you've been a blessing, and you've been a fixture in my faith as well, Coach. I've always appreciated that. After every game, that we spend the time to pray, and no matter what happened, we could have a great victory or a great loss. Our first thought was always giving grace to God. So I thank you for that, Coach. I appreciate it, and I love you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Any of you players got any questions or anything you want to say to some of these coaches while we got them on? I don't know who's all on anymore. We got 52 people on.
I just want to say that it's just good to see everybody. Coach DeBoer, Coach Morrell, Coach Anderson, all guys who coached me and the squads that I played on. So it's just good to see you guys and the success that you're having, and just continuing just to be leader of men. So I appreciate that. I love you guys, and once again, just great to see you guys.
Is Craig Sproles on yet?
I am on here, Coach Young. Yeah.
All right. I needed to see you, man.
It's good to see your face. I haven't seen most of these guys for 25 years. They've all gotten a lot older. I think I've stayed the same, and everybody looks old.
When you get into school administration, you definitely lose your hair that way, right?
That's true. That's true. You could ask Folkers the same thing. Jeff's doing school administration too.
I don't know, some of you may not know who this guy is, but he was really an outstanding offensive lineman back there in the 88. What tenure were you there, Craig? I can't remember the years. 87, did you come in, or when?
Yeah, 87. That's a good memory. Yeah, I was there with Ed and Bruce and Bobby, a lot of those guys, and Jeff and Rim, Tommy, a lot of those guys.
I was a rookie when you were there.
Yeah.
You were a rookie?
Yeah.
Yeah, Coach Young, you've had a big impact on my life, working who I am now and who I strive to be. I just want you to know, I think you've had a ripple impact that you don't necessarily know from someone afar that I haven't seen you for 25 years, but I still think of you often, and hope you're doing well.
Thank you. Sure, sorry about your dad. Craig's dad, Ken and Craig are brothers, of course, and he's got Alzheimer's and really struggling, right, Craig?
He is, yeah. He's still out in Rapid City and struggling. Yeah, it's hard to see, hard to live with for as long as that's been happening to him.
When did you lose your mom?
Last year, so about 14 months ago is when my mom passed away as well.
Well, sorry about that, buddy. Sure good to see you, though.
Yeah, it's great to see you as well,
I
Coach.
know you don't have much responsibility with this COVID-19 business and trying to figure out whether you're gonna open up your school in the fall, right?
Yeah, not a lot. Yeah, no, a lot of stuff going on, but this is a nice reprieve. I spend most of my day on calls just like this, but not as joyful as this group.
Anybody else got any comments or questions for some of the coaches while we got them on here?
Yeah, Coach, this is Adam Nelson. And I just like to say I played with, Kalen and Chuck and a lot of these other guys that aren't here. But, just listening to those guys tonight and just hearing their hearts and what they're doing for those younger generation coming up right now, it's just really warms my heart. And just want to encourage those guys to keep fighting the battle and anybody else who's out there coaching too. So we learned from a good one. So thanks, Coach.
Thank you, Adam.
Yeah,
Anybody
Coach,
else?
this is Bubba Bryant.
Okay.
Just wanted to say how great it is to see everybody. And first of all, I want to ask Chuck how to grow a beard like that. That's quite impressive. But just want to say, Coach Underwood, I've been thinking about you a lot. I know we haven't talked a long time, but I've been thinking about what you've been going through, and it's been exciting to follow Kalen through his path, and now Chuck's out there, and just a lot of great memories and great players. Coach, you don't know. I always used to say Coach Young saved a lot of us, right? Because I started at South Dakota State and had some troubles there, and Coach kind of pulled me out of the pit, and I credit him with being who I am today. So this is a great deal. I think about you, Coach, a lot, and I think about a lot of you guys a lot. So this is a great thing to be in touch with everybody. Love you guys.
One thing I heard about today, Craig Libis, a lot of you remember Craig. He married one of the student trainers, or brought him in to play football, and he ends up getting injured and falling in love and marrying one of our trainers. So that's a story in itself. But his dad passed away on Monday, and the funeral's tomorrow. So if those of you that maybe you haven't heard, or you would like to send him a note or something, I'm sure he'd appreciate it. But I don't think I don't know if he's on tonight or not. Anybody else got any words of wisdom for an old guy like me?
Yeah, Coach, I'd just say how appreciative I am of you bringing everybody together. For me, Brad Pohl recruited me, and he's still my fishing buddy. Jimmy Miller had some really special times, and I've spent a lot of time on the river with him as well. So fly fishing is very important. Dave Anderson on this call, he was our offensive coordinator. And then as it progressed through, Coach Morrell and Coach DeBoer, when we were doing the Rohinkle Scholarship Golf Tournament in Wyoming, how supportive you guys were of that event. It just meant so much to me. I've gotten to know Coach Anderson a little bit, and he's just a great coach to have the keys to the program right now. I don't know Coach Underwood that well. I guess I kind of missed that one, but great to hear you speak, Coach Underwood. It just was a neat thing, Coach, and you're the kingpin of this whole thing. You're just so important to all of us, and we just love you to death, and really miss Diane. So thanks, Coach, for making this happen.
Thank you. Must be something special that happens when you get on those trout streams, right? No comment?
I just, I untangle knots and they catch fish.
I like the ones that come in that bag where the kids across the street bring them. They're all cleaned and everything, with some nice fillets of walleye. That's the way I like to catch them. But they are good.
I wish you guys could have joined me in Nebraska for my fish fry.
Oh,
It was pretty good. I'm home now, though.
are you back in Reno?
I am back in Reno, but I think my boys are going out to Nebraska. Hey, and I want to add, I look at some of these guys from Bob Young to Rick Zimmer to Chad Remy to, Ken Sproles and Craig Sproles and Zaglavsky, Ken Quartermeyer, you brought me to know Jesus Christ as Lord, and that will always be cherished for my entire life. And of course, I married Maggie, and so it was a win-win at US. Well, I was University College, Sioux Falls College at the time when I went, not university. So but I do appreciate that, and I thank everybody that's on there.
Thank you, Jeff.
I guess I should add Coach Jimmy Miller too. I forgot about that. And Coach, thanks for talking. And yeah, Maggie and I are still together. 29 years.
Keith Anderson, most of you know who he is. He was a campus pastor during quite a period of time there, and he sends his greetings to all of you. I'm sure he'll probably end up getting the recording of this and listening to it, because he was very pleased to see some of your faces. I know that the last time, and kind of hear about your life and how you've turned out to be and so forth. So anyway, he sends his greetings to you. Kaylin, I don't have any report on your daughter's game up there in Brookings. I don't know what's happening.
Got a double and a walk since the line out, so we're going in the right direction.
Is Dave Anderson on by any chance yet? Dave, Super Dave.
Yes, sir, I'm here.
You were one of my coaches, so we don't want to omit somebody here that's had an impact. So go ahead, Dave. Anything you want to add?
Well, I don't know that I can echo. I don't know if I can say anything else that the guys haven't already said, but the opportunity to be a part of the beginning of this and to see you come on. I was actually, along with Todd Knutson, the player representatives on the panel that chose Bob Young. And I remember all these coaches came in and they had dynamic things to say, and then I was a quarterback and I was looking for somebody to come in throwing the ball, and all he could talk about was this stupid middle trap. That was the key to everything. And look where it's taken you. So it takes the little things. It takes a team. I love you very much. I love all the guys that I've been able to see, and I just appreciate the opportunity to be a part of Sioux Falls College, now USF, and to see all of the success that's taking place. So thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you. Any other comments? When are we going to do this again? Chad Remington. Does that sound like a good date? 2 weeks from today? Everybody in? Okay. You coaches are certainly welcome to be with us at that time too. So, you're always, the things you said tonight, coaches, is tremendously from your heart. And when I think back, the comments that so many of you made, and Brad, going clear back to the beginning when I first came there, and no wonder you helped get me straightened in the right way and develop the basis for the program, and we thank you for what you did, and then all the way up to John Anderson, who's taken the program at a continuing success level and everything. I have one comment. Just a quote here, a parting thought. I want you to really give some thought to this. It says, God's man in the center of God's will is immortal until God is done with him. I'm going to read it again, okay? God's man in the center of God's will is immortal until God is done with him. If you can think that through, that's my thought for the day, okay? Anybody else want to say anything before we shut her down? Chad? Any comments from the famous, I think we all owe Chad Remington a big, you want to give him a hand? I don't know, can you do it over the, anyway, he's done a lot to get this all set up, and getting the speaker view figured out was a challenge this week, but you know, he brought some hamburger out to me the other night, and we had it for hamburgers, and it was all 100% pure, I'll tell you. But he's a great young man, so we thank him a lot. So God bless you all, and love you all. Anybody want to wrap it up with something you happen to think about? I see Lamar's face on here yet.
I've actually got something to say, Coach.
Okay, Ralph.
It's talking about the workout room, the weight room there. Back in my day, I remember the squat rack. Squat rack was nothing but some metal pipes that were welded together, and it had two little nubs on the end so that you didn't roll everything back. And it really, that was when you really got the work ethic down, because when you were working out with that stuff, you had just the bare necessities and you worked your butt off. So I thank you for everything that you did for me, Coach.
Thank you, Ralph.
Ralph, it makes you think that Rock Springs High School weight room was an amazing facility when we got to USF and worked down that thing. But it was, you know, it was small, but when you talk about the community and you as your workout groups, when you went in there, you know, guys looked at it and just went to work. They went to work. We worked out hard, and everyone supported each other, and it was just a great thing.
Yeah, I just remember it being in that little weight room, and then I happened to be there thanks to Coach Young. I got an admissions job up there, and the transition from when I played until after I played, and seeing all the nice things those guys had. And I'd always joke with Kalen, Chuck, Swinson, all these guys about, yeah, this is the reason they have all this good stuff now, is because of us. But it was nice the first meeting getting on here, because there's a lot of people on here like Rick that just popped up, Zimmer, that I heard his name plenty of times in Wyoming as being a coach, but I never knew he went to Sioux Falls. Some of the guys that were up in Sheridan coaching that went to Sioux Falls, never knew that before. I look back, Coach Underwood, all the dudes that played on his defense, their coaches. I never thought I would be a coach, but it's nice seeing all you guys being able to lead young men in their lives and doing the things that they're doing right now. Swinson, my brother-in-law, when I first moved to Rock Springs, you know, he was a coach, and the joy in his face when they won their state championships, that was probably one of the best memories I have moving to Rock Springs, is just being able to see him win state championships, because I know the feeling of winning a national championship and the camaraderie with all the guys you won with. And those are the best memories. We only had 2 home games my senior year, but those bus trips were the funnest bus trips ever. And I just remember Miss Young a couple times on the bus turning off some of the movies we wanted to watch. She's like, oh, no, this won't fly. Turn this off. And we'd have to find something else to watch. But this is a great thing, and I'm glad I got a chance to listen to a lot of you guys, especially a lot of coaches. I still stay in touch with Chuck and those guys. And Kalen, I can send him a text and say, hey, you know, if you have some good drills, send it down to me, and he'll respond. So I think it all starts with you, Coach, and I appreciate it.
Thank you. I see Bill McKernan on here. Can you hear me, Bill? Bill? Can you say
Nobody
something?
can type.
I can hear you, Coach. I can hear you, Coach.
You live down in Arizona now?
I'm in Boise, Idaho.
Boise. Do you and Dave ever get to meet each other out there?
We'll need to after this. I didn't know he lived here.
I didn't know that either.
Coach, I got one quick story for just the crowd and to appreciate where everybody's at and where they've gone to. But when I went up to Sioux Falls and Coach actually came down and recruited me I said the only thing I knew, I trained hunting dogs when I was a kid. And I said, hey, Coach, I just heard there's good pheasant hunting in South Dakota. And he said, well, half the guys on the team they farm and they go home and hunt right after the game on Saturdays. And I just remember signing the paper right there saying I'm coming. So that was fun, Coach, and I appreciate you getting me up there. I enjoyed my time pheasant hunting and being around, and Coach Miller taking me out and showing me Eric Big E's farm and doing all that stuff. And I had a great time. I love seeing everybody, all these coaches. Thank you for your messages tonight. It's good to see that and hear that from people that came from this lineage with Coach Young and all my teammates that are on here. It's really nice to see. And one thing about the day when we played 28 or 29, 30 years ago, when I was at playing, I remember going on a bus trip down to Nebraska, and we I can't remember the school right now, but I remember we had host families letting us stay at their houses, and me and Chad Wolf were in the same house, and we slept in the same bed, and our butts were touching because the bed caved in the middle. It was quite the experience and something that I never had to experience before in my football career. So we did well, and it's good to see it's come a long way from those days. But it was still great, and I enjoyed every minute of it. So, and Coach, sorry about Dan. I'm sad to hear that, and I haven't been able to express that to you. So my heart's to you, Coach, and I love you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I don't know how to do this, Coach, but can I talk or?
Sure.
Just want to say thank you, guys. I love seeing yourself, Brad Pohl, Jimmy Miller, Dave Anderson. Those are old days, I guess, and along with a lot of my teammates. But thank you for everything you've done. And you made a big imprint on my whole life. So thank you, all of you. That's all I have to say.
I see Eric and Nama. Eric, are you on?
I am, Coach.
You've coached with some of these other guys, haven't you?
Yes, I've been very blessed to have an opportunity to be a part of this program and meet some of you guys, and just been a big part of my life. And you know, I'm originally from outside of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and moved out to Sioux Falls in 2007. And one of the best opportunities and decisions I've made in my life.
Thank you. See Tyler Muth up here. I haven't heard from you, Tyler.
Hey, Coach Young, you're putting me on the spot here.
You always got something to say, I know. Because you were in theater at one time, weren't you?
Yeah, I was part of my USF career as well. No, I've been sitting here thinking about, you know, just the impact you had on me, you know, not only as a student at USF, but then afterwards when I started my coaching career in Harrisburg, just helping us start our fellowship and just being a voice of reason and a guidance for us and for me. And I know when my wife and I were having trouble getting pregnant, my first phone call, was to call you and just ask you for your prayers. And sure enough, we were blessed that year. And it's always held true to me that, you know, if you ever need to ask anything, do it. And, you know, don't think about praying, just pray. And I still take that with me. So thank you, Coach, for your positive impact on my life.
Anybody else got something to add in here tonight? We'll shut her down. Is Todd Knutson on?
I am, Coach.
You coached with me. I didn't think about you there. You coached with me when you first got done, right?
1 year.
That's right.
84.
84. That's when we did a good job with. You got the defensive end coaching straightened out after I tried to screw it up and Earl Craven.
No, you and Earl and Brad had I think a number of conversations on the field about should the defensive end take the quarterback on the option or the pitch man, and but by the time I graduated and was coaching, you actually had me coaching receivers, and so I apologize to Dave Anderson and Kalen and all the other guys that had to go through that. I'm not sure why you thought I'd be a good receivers coach, but that's where I got stuck. But I'm it's good to see everybody on here. I'm sorry I don't have video access right now. I'm at my lake cabin and we have no internet access here, which is one of the main reasons I love coming up here. So everything right now is on my data. Otherwise I would be showing my mug as well. I've had I've had a great opportunity to remain in Sioux Falls, and so I still get to see Coach Young and seek his counsel and wisdom occasionally, which is a wonderful thing. And as all things, God does definitely have a plan, and I'm at the tail end of my career, and God brought me back to the university, where I'm now working there full time and going into my 5th year. So it's nice to be able to end where it all started. And you know, I've as most of you have alluded to regarding Coach, when I came to what was then Sioux Falls College, I wasn't even really aware it was a Christian college. That was not on my radar. I just wanted to play football. And by the time Coach arrived, I'd spent 3 years on that campus and was fairly void in terms of my faith walk. And about halfway through the season, after getting to know Coach and in his unique way of being able to share his faith walk, I just went up to one day and said, "Coach, I'm struggling. I've got some problems, got some issues." I poured my heart out to him, and he said, "Todd, every answer you're looking for, you can find in the Bible. You just need to get your nose in it." And because I respected him so much, I went home and opened the Bible. I had one of those little green Gideon Bibles that we got our freshman year. Pulled that out of my sock drawer, and I said a quick prayer. I said, "Lord, I don't know where to start here, but." I just opened the Bible and opened up to the book of James, chapter 1, verse 3, and it said, "Consider pure joy when you're faced with trials and tribulations of many kinds, because it's a testing of your faith that will develop perseverance." And at that time in my life, that spoke to me, and that's what got me on my spiritual path. And I've shared that story to thousands of people over the last 30 years, as a way to help everybody understand that each of us, no matter what role we have, when we have the ability to communicate with others, especially our younger athletes, there's nothing better that we can do for them than to share our own faith walk with them. But that's, Coach, that's what you were always so good at, and you made it pretty clear. It wasn't about winning or losing for you all the time. It was about making sure that you were going to make a difference in the lives of all the young men that you came in contact with. So appreciate you, love you, and I'm still pretty convinced that God's got a lot of work ahead for you to do yet. So
Thank you, Todd. Appreciate those words there. So I want to ask Shay Galen, can you hear me, Shay?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Do you go by Shay or Nick anymore?
Either or. Shay primarily now.
Shay, now you're professional, so you go by Shay,
I guess.
right?
Yeah.
Thank you for your kind note that you sent the other day. That was nice of you.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Appreciate
You're
it.
welcome.
There's Justin Oswald. Are you in Florida or are you back in Spearfish?
Which Oswald are you talking to?
Is it Justin?
Yeah, this is Justin. I'm in Rapid City.
Oh, you're in Rapid City. It's Jared that's down in Florida, right?
Yep, he bounces between Spearfish and Florida. So
How's everything in Rapid? All right.
it's always beautiful. I'm actually currently in Sioux Falls, here for a weekend tournament for my daughter plays basketball. But yeah, things are good. Life is good. I'd echo a lot of the things guys have said tonight already. The one thing, one of the biggest lessons I learned from you, Coach, was coming from, a small town, wasn't always around part of a bigger men's ministry. And that was really impactful for me. That was very rewarding. That was something I hadn't been around before. So being part of this tonight is great. It's something I've actually been missing for a little while. I got girls in my house, so I got a wife and 2 girls. So a couple of my greatest memories of you, Coach, is leading every prayer with, Lord, I thank you for these men. And currently that's something I can't do at my house right now. I don't have men at my house. But I thank the Lord for the women in my life right now. And the other greatest lesson I learned from you was marrying a good woman and marrying a good woman from Viberg. So
Amen.
Amen. So I just appreciate you and all the other coaches that have talked tonight. I've interacted with most of them, either watching them play or being yelled at by them. So it's all good. I love it.
I want to say hi to Bob Shaw here. Rob, you on?
I'm here, Coach.
Good to see your face.
You as well. Just thinking back to when I both played and I had the privilege of playing and coaching for Coach Young. And besides us sharing our love of running the football, I got a good story about, I don't know if Kayla remembers this, but hearing Fitzy and Bob up in the booth and Fitzy saying, I don't know who needs to hear this, but if we don't run trap pretty soon, I can't be held responsible for what's going to happen up here. Good old trap.
Good old trap. That's right.
But, when I started coaching for you, Coach Young, if you remember, I recently had just become a single father, had a young daughter who now is about to graduate this year with 2 classes left. And just you allowing me to bring her on to practices and in the meetings and stuff like that, and allow me to continue to coach and to be part of her life, and how just important that emphasis on family and being that kind of man, that kind of parent, that kind of father that you instilled in all of us. And even though I don't coach, I still, work with youth, and I'm in charge of people that work with youth, mostly juveniles, but that carries on, that leadership that you've taught us all. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, folks, about my bedtime, so I suppose I better call it quits, huh? Chad, it's on to.
Yeah, I wanted to mention a lot of people are looking for contact information on other people. So if you want to respond to the Coach Young 172@gmail.com.
Coach Young. Coach Young, my video is not working, but this is Theron.
All right.
This is Liggins, Theron Liggins. My video is not
Theron.
working, but I had to come on just to say hi.
Good. Good to see you.
Next time, I'll make sure my video is working so I can get on here
you guys to see me.
I gotta see.
Yeah. I still look as good as ever, Coach. I haven't aged a bit. No, I'm just kidding. I'm old. I'm old and gray. What's up, Zimmer?
Hey, you still having a hard time developing those calves of yours, or are you all right?
Yeah, I started to get some implants, but you know, I was like, what the hell?
Oh,
Leave them like
dude.
they are. What's up, ET?
Dude, I miss you, brother.
What's up,
Yes.
Legs?
What's up?
Man, I tell you, Coach, I'm so grateful to you for doing this. I walk around the next 2 days with just a big smile plastered on my face. I tell all these stories about my time at Sioux Falls College to my players and my students and my family. My daughters have both been out here tonight, and I've been going through showing everybody who's who. And I'm thinking a lot like Coach Knutson. When I first showed up at the coup, I was just ready to play some football somewhere. Just wanted to try my hand and play a little bit. And it's just invaluable, the experience that I gained and being around quality people, like Joel Mashik and Bruce Moeller and, run into ET again. And I'm just telling you that the legacy lives on because of you guys. I try to coach the way that Coach Miller and Coach Pohl taught me. I've never been around more intense guys that could get their message across the right way and still just, make you feel like they love the hell out of you. But by God, you were going to work. And so I just think of all the things that I'm blessed with that came from the University of Sioux Falls, the coup back in our day. So Coach, just bless you for, having the vision to create these wonderful men and the caring to create these guys in an image that would get them a lot farther in life than what they would get on the football field. And so I just appreciate seeing everybody and I can't wait for the next meeting here in a couple weeks.
Me neither. Next time I'll make sure I'm on here on time.
I remember moving you in your dorm room.
Yeah, there was a culture shock for me.
There's Reggie. There's Reggie.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a culture shock for me. I was just like, whoa, wait a minute. What's going on?
Hi, Theron.
Hey, how's it doing, Coach?
Good to see you, Theron.
You
Really
too.
Good to see you.
Yes.
Looking good.
I'm
You look
trying,
like- You
military
look like you're almost in playing
keeps me happy
shape.
to take care. Yeah,
Kalen might be recruiting you to come out and play, or Chuck take you out to play some DB at Fresno State, maybe if you're not careful.
I'll be broken up in one practice. This body's too old for that stuff. But hey, I tell you guys, I love you guys, man. It was great coming up here. This was a great experience for me, and it was a great move for me. So it was great. Thank you, Coach. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you much, Theron.
Yeah.
Hey,
Now I'm about to retire, so now I can enjoy.
Hey, Zim, where's Grogan at anyway?
Tommy's on our Thursday morning coach's Bible study that we've been doing, like I said, for the past 12 years. And right now he went to him and a good buddy of his he went to high school with that's on our staff. They went up to Alaska to fish.
Oh, okay.
So I had him. He came to one of our Monday night practices last week, and we visited quite a bit about you and how this went. And he was really sad that he wasn't going to meet up with everybody this time, but he'll be back for the next one for sure. He does a hell of a job with us. He runs our FCA at Natrona, and just a quality guy. And he can't say enough good things about his experience with his coaches and his teammates, like all of us, at Sioux Falls. So he'll be back next week, and he'll be happy to see everybody. He does a hell of a job for us.
Chad, what about what's going to happen here with our recording now? Can you tell them?
Yeah, I recorded the meeting again, so I'll edit it down and I'll get it up on Facebook and I'll send it out as a link on YouTube so everyone can see it. I'll also probably edit each coach into his own video and post those so they're just individuals. And if everyone that is interested would send their contact information, they can either just respond to the email that I send or to just send it directly to Coach. We're going to get a list together, a spreadsheet I'll get out to everybody, and cell phones and email addresses for texting and emails if you're so inclined. We'll just get a nice, good, big list put together and just stay together. So appreciate every one of you. It's so good to see all you guys that had such a big impact on my life personally. You know, it wasn't just the coaching staff. It was the brotherhood of the team. And then the coaching staff just kind of put their arms around us and made us, men, I mean, for lack of better terms. So thanks to all of you for joining us. It's so great to see ET and Zim and TL, Greg Carroll, Craig, Ken, all the guys, man. Love you. Love all of you.
Love you too, Guy.
Thanks, Chad.
I appreciate you guys keeping me on the list because it's been a while. It's always great to see you guys. You guys look so good, man. Damn. Good living, I guess, huh?
We're not smoking them cigars, Darren.
I just finished one too, and I was like, "Oh man, I missed it."
Night, Darren.
Yeah. See, Coach. Love you, man.
Night, Joel Messick.
Thanks, Jimmy and Brad too, man. It's great to see you guys.
Sure. For sure.
Take care, you guys. See you in a couple weeks.
See you, Jeff. See you, buddy.
See ya.
See you guys.
Thanks, Coach. Love you.
See you, Mo. I'll give you a call.
Will do. See you
guys.
Zim.
Coach. Good seeing you guys. See you, T. I didn't tell anybody your secret. Maybe next time.
Thank you. No, in a long time when I'm gone.
Maybe next time, brother.
Yeah.
Chris Muller, great to see you, man.
You too, Chad.
Take care of yourself, buddy.
Yep, you too.
Hey, Coach Miller, I just wanted to say hello to you. It's Brian Brooks out in Douglas, Wyoming. So I got on way late. I got on way late, so I didn't hear anything, but I'll get online and listen to you guys. So anyway, thanks a bunch to you and Coach Young. We'll chat with you guys later.
Brian, good to
Take
see you.
care. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.